Jared here with Alliance IT. I just wanted to show you maybe some quick keyboard shortcuts that I use all the time. I know some people that have been operating computers for a long time are probably familiar with these shortcuts. I don't know if shortcuts have kind of become a lost, I don't know, art, if you will, if people kind of don't do it anymore. I see a lot of people when they operate right-clicking with their mouse to copy something or highlight and drag and drop, and it seems like it takes so much longer. But if you know your keyboard shortcuts and you operate that with your left hand while you're operating your mouse with your right hand, you can actually be much more efficient and quicker. Just to show a couple examples of those things, I'm going to open the notepad here. I'm going to put some letters in. One of the things that you can do, a lot of people know is the Control-C or the Control-V, which is like a copy, and then the Control-V is a paste, a Control-X is a cut. They're all in a row, so it's pretty simple to do. But even if you're going to copy, a lot of times people will take their mouse like I'm doing now and kind of highlight that word, and then they'll hit Control-C, and then they'll, enter it in their next line, and they'll hit Control-V and they'll paste it. Quick tip, if you have just one line or you know what you want to do, if you just do Control-A, that'll automatically select everything that's in your document or your window. If you're on a web page and you do Control-A, it'll automatically highlight everything. So you don't have to take your mouse and try to scroll up. Let's say you have a long document that's multiple pages and you're trying to highlight as you advance the window up as you go. You can just do Control-A and it'll select everything. At that point, you can do a Control-X to cut, a Control-V to paste. Let's say you only want to highlight some of that word. If you hold the Shift key and then you use your cursor keys, you can actually just take, 3 or 4 letters if you want. You can also, if you're at the end, you got your cursor at the end here, and I want to highlight that whole row. So let's say I have like multiple rows. And in this instance, if I did a Control-A, it would do them all, but I don't want them all. I only want maybe this third line. And I have my cursor at the beginning. If I press the end key, it'll take me to the end, and then I can do Shift and Home, and it'll highlight that row. And then I can do the Control, and then I could enter down and paste or whatever I was doing. So anyways, there's a couple quick shortcuts. Probably the one that maybe some people do, you'll see it in some memes, which is interesting, where you'll see something bad happen, and then it's a nerd joke, because then it'll say Control-Z, Control-Z. Control-Z is actually your shortcut to undo the last thing that you did. So if you mistakenly deleted something, if you made a change and you don't realize what you made, like for instance, you hit your keyboard or your mouse by mistake because you were swiveling your chair or whatever, Control-Z will undo whatever you just did. Control-Z also has memory. So if you deleted 3 things in a row and realized you didn't want to do that, you can Control-Z 3 times and it should put everything back the way that it was. That's definitely a lifesaver. So I'm going to open up another window. This is also one I use often, not as frequently as I used to. But if you have multiple windows open, let's say you're operating a single screen and you have an Excel spreadsheet and, I don't know, a Word document, and you're kind of going back and forth between the two because you're copying data from one and putting it into the other, you can use AltTab, and AltTab will pull up this little window here. And if you just do AltTab quickly, it'll switch directly back to whatever window you were previously in. But let's add some more programs. How about a Google Chrome window also? So now I've got 4 windows open down here. I've got Edge, File Explorer, Notepad, and Google Chrome. My Alt-Tab key, I'm just going to pause rather than, I'm just going to hit the Alt-Tab, and I'm not going to release. I'm currently still holding the Alt button down so that this window stays up on my screen. As soon as I release Alt, it'll select that window, and then that'll be my now focused window, as they say. So I'm going to Alt-Tab again, and it would switch right back to wherever I was. But let's say I'm working between 3 or 4 different windows. If I Alt-Tab, Tab, you'll see that my selector is actually moving, and I can pick specifically which window I want to go to. There's another tip as well. And then the other one that's kind of lesser known, when you're working in a browser, let's say you're a person that uses multiple tabs, the shortcut between that, I believe, is Control-Tab. Yeah. So if you're trying to switch tabs in your browser, you hold the Control key and the Tab key rather than the Alt and Tab key, and that'll quickly let you switch from your your Facebook that you're not supposed to be on at work to your quick business application that you're supposed to be on when somebody comes to visit you. All right. Anyways, quick tips. Have a good one.